Now we're ready.
Now we're starting.
Yes, now we're starting. We're starting a little bit late because our friend Roger Waddell, special friend of the Rooster's wife, is a veteran and wanted to make sure we had a flag on stage tonight. So we thank Roger for that extra measure and also for his service. Tonight we are very, very happy to be here as a benefit for the Patriot Foundation. They raise money for primarily for the families of Fort Bragg soldiers in all kinds of form of relief. Spike, can you wave your hand?
Spike, there you go.
Yep. Spike is the founder of this. He will tell you all kinds of interesting things about the Patriot Foundation. You can go to patriotfoundation.org.
www.patriotsscholarships.com.
patriotscholarships.com. But I know that Patriot Foundation will get you, those fancy web people, they know how to circumvent the real address. Just like when you mail things to the spot, it comes to my house. So, but that's just the way of the world. So we're very, very proud to have the supporters of the Patriot Foundation here. And we have several active duty members here tonight, is that correct? Can you wave? Got some soldiers here? Thank you very much for your service. This program will address you particularly, and all of us that share the love of those that serve our fine country and our way of life. Nell has brought this program to light by virtue of her family history. She's going to tell you a lot about it as the story unfolds. She's got members of her family on both sides of every conflict going back to the American Revolution. Tonight we've got some fine, fine fellows up here with her. On the far left, my other left, is Jim Nunley. He's a wonderful flat picker from California. So then, on that great big bass, Marshall Welborn is here from Virginia by way of Texas. He's got his own personal stories to tell you also. Wonderful, wonderful player. I'm not going to get into their histories, but you'll be able to discuss that with them afterwards. So, and then Keith Not So Little behind me. Keith Little is behind me. You will have heard his music for many, many years, maybe unknowingly, and he'll tell you about himself also. You're playing with who now? Which one of the 10 bands are you playing with now? He's mostly, I heard him last with Peter Rowan when I was at Springfest in Florida. You're going to love his singing and his playing. And behind me, Craig. Who is this? This is Joe Craven. He is resident saint to the Rooster's wife. He gives us all kinds of advice on music, creativity, and living an artful life. So now, on with the show. Please welcome the show.
So much. I just want to say a special thank you to Janet Kenworthy. Hasn't she built a beautiful place for us? She works really hard, and she's done a lot for us and has hosted us here. This is our 3rd night, and it's just really been a real treat to come back to this same beautiful place and work with Dave, who does a great job. And he's just been the nicest guy, and Tim and all these folks involved here. We just appreciate you so much. I'm kind of sad we're leaving.
We are
too. You are too. Thank you. And now there's some people here who have seen this show 3 times in a row, and they're sitting right back there, Julie and Bill Wicks, and they've hosted some of us in their homes this week. I appreciate that so much. I did try to grab them up here to sing with us, but they absolutely refused. They said they wouldn't give us a bed to sleep in tonight if I embarrassed them. No, we won't do that to them. And it is so wonderful. I'm so happy that Janet made a special introduction to Joe, because this does feel like Joe's home too. And it is, we talk about how it feels like a living room with these chairs and couches, and it's just so relaxed and homey. And we know that Joe's been a really special part of building this. So we so appreciate, Joe, that you brought us in to your home to perform this show.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll begin with a letter from a Civil War veteran writing to his nephew 30 years after the war ended. October 17th, 1895. Dear Frank, you will hear a great many who will tell of what he did at such a battle, the prodigies of valor he performed. He knew no fear, saw no danger, when in all probability, if the facts were known, this same fellow lay behind a rail pile, a stump or log, and saw nothing beyond his nose, and carried out the same cartridge in his rusty old gun that had lain in it for weeks. It is a fact potent that the soldier doing the best and most fighting always had less to tell, and with many less of the hairbreadth escapes and blood-curdling adventures than many of the old camp followers, quartermasters, and commissary guards. They are the ones to narrate those terrible adventures. Edwin Robinson, my great-great-grandfather. These are days of trouble and sorrow in this weird world alone. We are trusting and we're trusting God to lead against the foe. It will be a happy tomorrow when the boys again will sing, and the courtship will sing as we shout for victory.
We are waiting,
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 waiting, waiting for the smiling song.
We are waiting,
Waiting, waiting, waiting, waiting,
it won't be long.
Sailing,
Sailing, sailing, sailing, sailing the ocean foam. We are waiting,
waiting, waiting, waiting for the boys to come home. We must keep the deep light shining from this lighthouse on the shore. Whenever crossing is worth crossing, we will see the stars once more. God will make silver and lining from the clouds of Christmas love, and the courtship will sing and bring it back boys to love.
we are waiting, 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 waiting for the smiling song. We are waiting, 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 it won't be long. Sailing, 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 sailing the ocean foam. We are waiting, 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 waiting for the boys to come home. Well, I got a friend named Whiskey Sam. He was my boony rat buddy for a year now. He said my country got a little off track. Took him 25 years to welcome me back. But it's better than not coming back at all. Many a good man I saw fall. And even now, every time I dream, I hear the men and the monkeys in the jungle scream. Drive on, don't mean nothing. My children love me, but they don't understand. And I got a woman who knows her man. Drive on, don't mean nothing. It don't mean nothing. Drive on. Was late one night, texting me, repelled in on a hot LZ. Our 16's tuned to rock and roll, and with all that fire I was scared and cold. Well, I was crazy, I was wild, and I have seen the tiger smile. I spit in a bamboo viper's face, and I'd be dead, but by God's grace. Drive on, don't mean nothing. It was a real long walk in a real sad rain. Nobody tried to be John Wayne. I came home, but texted not, and I can't talk about the hit he got. I got a little limp now when I walk. I got a little tremolo when I talk. My letter read from Whiskey Sam, you're a walking, talking miracle from Vietnam. Drive on, don't mean nothing. My children love me, but they don't understand. And I got a woman who knows a man. Drive on, don't mean nothing. Don't mean nothing. Drive on, don't mean nothing. Don't mean nothing. Drive on.
Military veterans have historically been on the forefront of social change. And this next song we'd like to do was written in 1930 about the Bonus Expeditionary Force, also known as the Bonus Army. Anybody ever heard of the Bonus Army? Show of hands. Well, after World War I, Congress passed a law promising veterans a $1 per day bonus for their service. They returned from war to find the country in the midst of the Great Depression, and without their bonus, a march to Washington, D.C. was organized in hopes of lobbying Congress to receive due payment. Within weeks, 43,000 veterans and their family members occupied Anacostia Park along the Anacostia River, set up an encampment, and went to work. Within a few months, a bonus bill was introduced and passed the House of Representatives, but fell short in the U.S. Senate. President Herbert Hoover then mobilized federal troops and tanks against their encampment under the command of Douglas MacArthur. In the melee, several veterans were killed and a number of their family members were injured. The Bonus Army veterans were evicted and their encampment was burned to the ground. The resulting public outrage in support of these veterans erupted when the newsreels played at home. And due to the activism of the Bonus Army marchers, the GI Bill of Rights was enacted several years later, ensuring that World War II veterans would be spared a similar fate when they returned home, and instead propelled them into the middle class, profoundly changing the social landscape of our nation.
Thank you, Keith. Can you believe that's not in history books? This song tells a story called Forgotten Soldier Boy.
I'm just a poor ex-soldier that's broken down and blue. I've gone out in the Great World War for the old red, white, and blue. I left my parents and the girl I loved to France did go, and fought out on the battlefield through hunger, sleet, and snow. I saw my buddies dying, some shell-shocked and torn. Although we never faltered at the Battle of the Marne, and we were called when we left home the heroes of the land. But we came back and found no one would lend a helping hand. day, poor boys is dead. So listen to my story and lend a helping hand to the poor forgotten soldier boy who fought to save our land.
Country singer from Nashville. Thank you very much. Mel Tillis, wonderful singer and songwriter, wrote this next song that surely was inspired by his time overseas when he served in Korea, and it's called Stateside.
Japanese moon is shining bright. Tokyo is full of life. Busy people everywhere, but busy people just don't care. I wanna go stateside. Oh Lord, I wanna go stateside. In and out to honky tonks, but nothing's there I really want. Sit a while and look around, get up and leave and walk to town. I wanna go stateside. Oh Lord, I wanna go stateside. The geisha girls don't understand the lonely life of a serviceman when his heart is far away to a girl in the USA. I wanna go stateside. Oh Lord, I wanna go stateside. I heard tell a man don't cry, but I can't keep my blue eyes dry. I've been away about 2 years. You know I've cried a million tears. I wanna go stateside. Oh Lord, I wanna go stateside. Oh Lord, I wanna go stateside.
So I did notice a few people's mouths moving and singing along, and we encourage you to do that. We love it. If you know the words, we love for you to sing along. And in fact, we will have an opportunity later on this evening that we're really going to insist everybody sing along, because we're going to do something we know you know the words to. Speaking of Johnny Cash, that's the song that Jim sang, Drive On, was a Johnny Cash song. Isn't that great? Great rendition of that. I love how he does that. So this next song is a song that I wrote with a friend of mine, Lori Lewis, and it's, I actually had spent some time with my dad. My dad had Parkinson's. He died about 1.5 years ago. And I wrote a poem, essentially, after I'd spent some time with him. And he was kind of a rough character. He was a career military, been raised by also, his father was in the Army, and as Janice said, many generations of my family have served. And my dad was kind of a rough character, and my mother told me some stories about his early life that helped me understand it. And so I wanted to write something in his honor, and so this song tells a little bit about his life and the effect, you know, of when his father was off the war and his mom was at home with 2 boys. It was challenging. It was hard. And so I grew up in the military, moving every couple of years. Are there any military brats here? Military dependents or brats? Come on. When you are in a military family, you are taught and you believe, and I believe it is true, that you are also serving your country. And, there's sort of a code of honor for your behavior, and you are expected to behave and live up to, a certain standard. And so it profoundly affected me, so I, moved on. I thought civilian life was really weird. And I have no problem in airport security, because I'm used to being searched. But it happens all the time on military bases. Here's a song dedicated to my dad. It's called Butch.
1, 2, 3.
Now he was called Butch as a boy, though his golden curls looked so sweet, and the sun shone through his troubled eyes. He was hurt because he had to be. His father at war and his mother at home, with 2 boys and a heart in despair. Her life fell apart, so she left one son broken hearted in his sister's care. Well, he grew up to be just as sharp as a tack, a young man longing to roam. Butch made a life out of serving his country, and a family of 5 all his own. Now his mind wanders, his feet stumble beneath him. Out of words he makes no sense. He dreams of that boy in burning hand, still waiting at Aunt Mary's fence. But there were days when his girls caught the warm southern sun, and his laughter and mine were so bright. Butch had the heart to rise above sorrow. Now he'll meet his mother in God's white light, and there she will love him with all of her might.
November 11th, 2011. When I returned from Vietnam, I just turned 20. Even though I was still young, I was not allowed to live in a university dorm because people were so afraid of deaths. My dad wanted the local paper, the San Jose Mercury News, to publish that I had been awarded 2 Purple Hearts and a Silver Star, but I talked him out of it because I just wanted to be left alone. It's one of the greatest regrets of my life, especially because my dad had served in the Army for 10 years, including all of World War II. He was disappointed because he was so proud, but he honored my request. Michael Hogan, veteran, Army 1st Cavalry.
My name is Francis Tolliver. I come from Liverpool. Many, many years ago this day, war was waiting for me after school. From Belgium to Flanders, Germany to here, I fought for king and country that I love dear. 'Twas Christmas in the trenches, and the frost so bitter hung, the frozen fields of France were still. No Christmas song was sung. Our families back in England were toasting us that day. Those brave and glorious lads, so very far away. Well, I was lying with my messmates on the cold and rocky ground, when across the line of battle came a most peculiar sound. I says, "Now listen up, me boys." Each soldier strained to hear, as one lone German voice rang out so very clear. "He's singing bloody well, you know," my partner says to me. And soon, one by one, each German voice rang out in harmony. The cannon rested silent, and the gas cloud rolled no more, as Christmas brought us respite from the war. As soon as they were finished, a reverent pause was spent. "Then God rest ye merry gentlemen," struck up the lads from Kent. The next day's sang was still not. "'Tis silent night," says I, and in two tongues one voice filled the sky. "There's someone coming towards us," the front line sentry cried, and all sights were fixed on one lone figure trudging from their side. His truce flag was like a Christmas star that shone on that plain so bright, as he bravely strode unarmed into the night. And then, one by one, on either side, we all walked into no man's land, with neither gun nor bayonet. We met there hand to hand. We shared some secret brandy, and we wished each other well. And in a flare-lit football game, us Brits really gave them hell. We traded chocolates and cigarettes, and photographs from home. These sons and fathers, far away from families of their own. Young Sanders had a squeeze box, and they had a violin. This curious and unlikely band of men. Well, daylight stole upon us, and France was France once more. And with sad farewells, we each began to settle back to the business of war. But the question haunted each and every heart that wondrous night. Whose family have I fixed within my sights? It was Christmas in the trenches, and the frost so bitter home. But the frozen fields of France were warm that night, as songs of peace were sung. For the walls they'd kept between us to exact the work of war were somehow, even if just for a moment, crumbled and gone for some forevermore. My name is Francis Tolliver, and in Liverpool I still dwell. And each Christmas since World War I, I've learned its lessons well. That the ones who call the shots won't be among the dead weight. And on each end of the rifle, we are all the same.
all know that's a true story, right?
That's great.
Fantastic.
Amazing. I'd like to sing a song for you now, and Nell and I are going to sing this one for you. And this is one that was on an LP that my brother had sent me during the Vietnam War. My brother was stationed in Thailand for a period of time. Robert Nunnally is his name, and he heard from my mother through letters that I was learning to play the guitar. So he started sending me books, music books, and LPs, and he sent a stereo system, and he sent a cassette recorder, and I started to learn songs off the music he sent. And this is one of the songs that I learned, and it's called One Morning in May. One was a maiden, so bright and so fair, and the other was a soldier and a brave volunteer. Good morning, good morning, good morning, says he. And where are you going, my pretty lady? I'm a-going out a-walking on the banks of the sea, just to see the waters rise and hear the nightingales sing. Well, they had not been standing but a minute or two, when out of his knapsack a fiddle he drew, and the tune that he played made the valleys all ring. Oh, hark, cried the maiden, hear the nightingale sing. Oh, maiden, fair maiden, 'tis time to get home. Oh, no, kind soldier, please play one tune more, for I'd rather hear your fiddle and the touch of one string than to see the waters rise and hear the nightingale sing. Oh, soldier, kind soldier, will you marry me? Oh, no, pretty maiden, that never shall be. I've a wife down in London and children twice three, 2 wives and the army's too many for me. I'll go back to London and I'll stay there for a year. It's often I'll think of you, my little dear, and if ever I return, it will be in the spring, just to see the waters rise and hear the nightingale sing. See the waters rise and hear the nightingale sing.
you so much. Let's see. My grandfather on my father's side, my paternal grandfather, was a veteran of World War I. He didn't serve overseas. He had steam engine experience, and he spent the entire war logging spruce in the state of Washington to make airplanes out of. In spite of that, he advised his 3 sons to join the Navy, and you'll always have a bed to sleep in, which they did. But I often wonder if they had joined the Army and instead wound up perhaps on opposite sides of the line as the 2 young boys in this next piece. 2 little boys. His horse's head. He went for his toy and cried with joy when he heard his brother then say, "Do you think I could leave you crying when there's room on my horse for 2? Climb up here, Jack, and stop your crying. We'll mend up your horse with glue. When we grow up, we'll both be soldiers, and our toys will not be toys. And maybe you will remember when we were 2 little boys."
Thank you so much. It is so much fun to be here with y'all tonight. Thank you so much. This next song is based on an historical figure. Her name was Anne Hart, or Nancy Hart. She was a Revolutionary War spy, And she was 6 feet tall, flaming red hair, one crossed eye. She would dress up as a man and infiltrate the redcoats and take notes and come back and report to her husband, who was very active in the militia. And she was a fierce pioneer woman. I just think she's really fascinating. And she is reportedly one of my ancestors, but I will admit to you that there's a raging family debate about this. We Southerners think we're related to everybody, right? We're all related. So we do have a denier in my family, my brother. But in any case, I thought she deserved a song. This is a story about when she's at home one day alone with her young daughter. And some redcoats had just murdered her neighbor. They were killing people, stealing their livestock for food. And she was called Wahatchee, which is the name of the song. And that was in the local Native Americans' language, means war woman. So here it is, Wahatchee.
1, 2, 3.
So you know what they did. This is based on a true story. She gave them brandy, got them drunk. They had those long skirts. She and her daughter snuck their guns under their skirts, snuck their guns out the door. She got her musket and held them at the end of the wrong end of her musket until her husband got home. And she did indeed hang them. So this is in Georgia. Well, okay. All right. She was rough.
This is just a further confirmation of the fact that raising a 10-year-old daughter after raising 3 boys, that girls do rule.
Are you sure?
Boys drool. Isn't that the
Boys do Boys tend to drool and girls drool. There is a task that's harder far than battling in the strife. It's when the surging fray is past and quiet is the life. It's keeping up with moral, then the hardest job of all. Just keep keeping on, you know, and be a man. That's all. To stand in quiet hours of ease, to be serene in peace, and strive to be a manly man and not let courage cease. Alan P. Bates, Nell's great-grandfather, pacifist, World War I veteran, December 15th, 1918, 1 month after the end of World War I.
We'd like to do a song for you now, and this is one that I co-wrote. And the way that the song came about was my wife, Judy Forrest, and I were removing her great aunt, Wilhelmina Van Pesky, removing her belongings from her apartment. She had passed away, and she had been a Dutch interpreter for the Dutch Army. And so on her desk, as I was passing by her desk, I found this poem, and I read the poem, and I thought this would make a lovely song. And so that's how the song came about, and it's called Poppies. On the bloody fields of Flanders, by the crosses row on row, is the birthplace of the poppy, where gay scarlets unjet grow. In the wars our boys went over, gave their all to flag and God. Some came back scarred and disabled, many sleep beneath the sun. In the hospitals they're suffering, thousands once so big and strong gave their youth and health as heroes while they helped defeat the wrong. Full of love they left their country, came back wrecked in body and mind. Now they feel they are forgotten, brave deeds seem so far behind. But we'll show them we remember, they're not lightly cast aside. Cheerless days will help to brighten, we'll keep faith for those who died. Soldiers now are making poppies, each a symbol of the years that they fought to save their country with their blood and sweat and tears. will offer you these flowers sometime in the month of May. Let us show them that we're grateful with a flower on Poppy Day.
There's a rose that grows in no man's land, and it's wonderful to see. Though it's sprayed with tears, it will live for years in my garden of memory. It's the one red rose the soldier knows. It's the work of the master's hand. In the war's great curse stands the Red Cross nurse. She's the rose of no